Hello, welcome back to Spirit Lounge and the continuation of our journey through the Samyutta Nikaya. And I want to continue. There's one more video after this, then we finish the Samyutta section of the three of the five, and we'll go straight into it for those who have been following along. Okay, so we're going to go through quite a few. Again, the Tipitaka is the teachings of Buddha, the Dhamma teachings, 5 sections. We're in the third, Samyutta Nikaya. They all connect sermons and discourses and religious lectures and dialogue of some description. So there's not much of a difference between them all, actually. You'll find this is the third one, and you'll find all 3 of them are very similar in messaging, in text and repetition. Okay, so this is the Satipatthana Samyutta. And so the Unbapati Vagga. On the fourfold way to establish mindfulness. With mindfulness and awareness is reflection upon the body in order to eliminate craving and unhappiness in the world. With mindful and awareness, reflection upon the sensations in order to eliminate craving and unhappiness with the world. With mindfulness and awareness, reflection upon the nature of the mind in order to eliminate craving and unhappiness in the world. With mindfulness and awareness, reflection upon Buddha's teachings in order to eliminate craving and unhappiness in the world. So he's taking you through body sensations, the mind, and then gnosis, which is Buddha's teachings are just part of gnosis. And its purpose, the attainment of nibbana, 5 hindrances: passion, ill will, indolence, anxiety, and doubt, consisting a pile of unpleasantness, on how monks should not partake in things outside their natural sphere, where Mara, the king of death and temptation, exists. Nalanda Vagga. On the final death and panibbana of the Buddha's chief disciples Sariputta and Maha Moggallana, and how Buddha felt no grief. On the Buddha's advice to his disciples that they be their own refuge and use the Buddha's teaching as an island. On the Buddha shortly after enlightenment and his discovery of the path that leads to purity and nibbana, the fourfold way to establish mindfulness. On the heavenly Brahma Samapatti's confirmation that the path that leads to purity and nibbana is a fourfold way. 1. Life inevitably involves suffering. 2. Suffering is caused by craving, clinging, obsession, paradigms, weak and materiality, and the loss on the left. We can be free of suffering if we stop craving, and all the aforementioned. There is a way of thinking, acting and meditating that leads to complete liberation from suffering to establish mindfulness. This is also gnosis and study. Sthiti Vagga. On the reason why the Buddha's teaching may not endure after his death, the non-practice of the fourfold way to establish mindfulness. On the 2 fruits of the fourfold way to establish mindfulness. On enlightenment in this life or enlightenment in the next life, or the extinguishing of desires and the state of deathlessness, which is the realization of nirvana and are liberated from samsara and will have no more rebirth, being the outcome of cultivating the 4 way to establish mindfulness. Amarta Vagga. On the law of causation, on the arising and fading of the fourfold way to establish mindfulness. When there is the arising of food, there is the arising of the body. When there is fading of the food, here is the fading away of the body. When there is the arising of contact, there is a rising of sensations. When there is a rising of the body, there is a rising of mind. When there is a fading of the body, there is a fading of the mind. On having compassion for others and encouraging them to establish themselves in the fourfold way to establish mindfulness, with mindfulness and awareness, reflection upon the body in order to eliminate craving and unhappiness with the world, with mindfulness and awareness. This is effectively telling us that if we move our attention and the connectedness away from this, the food, the body, and the sensations, which is basically another way of repeating what the other passages are saying, to achieve nibbana, contentment and peace. On the 3 types of discriminations, notions of superiority, inferiority and equality. This equality will be in spiritual terms. Indriya Samyutta. Sutta Vagga, on the 5 mental faculties, 5 powers and 5 strengths, 5 faculties, leading to perfection, faith, vigour, mindfulness, concentration and wisdom. On the satisfaction, peril and liberation of the 5 faculties, leading to attainment of the stream winner. Or Brahmins, or Samanas, ascetics, not understanding the satisfaction, peril and liberation of the 5 faculties. Mudutara Vagga, on the 5 faculties, faith, vigour, mindfulness, concentration and wisdom. On the faculty of faith and faith in the enlightened Buddha. On the faculty of vigour and the effort to purify the mind and undertake the four's right efforts. Prevent new bad karma from arising, eliminate all bad karma, generate new karma, maintain existing good karma, which are the 4 right efforts. On the faculty of mindfulness and memory and the 4-fold way to establish mindfulness. On the faculty of concentration and the meditation focus on holy achievement. Its concentration and the 4 meditative ecstasies. The state of being aloof from desires, but still observant and reflective of desires. This is very good. This is paying attention, being mindful of all things, but not running away from them. Being able to control oneself. The state of being cut off from desires and of a peaceful heart. The state of being happy, mindful, and at peace with everything as it is. The state being beyond pleasant and unpleasant and perfect mindfulness. On the faculty of wisdom and the holy goal of ending suffering. Okay, the Chandindriya Vagga, on knowledge of the origin, arising, fading away. Satisfaction, peril, liberation from the 5 faculties, faith, vigour, mindfulness, concentration and wisdom, being the knowledge on which the Buddha claimed to be truly enlightened. Full masters of 5 faculties are arhats, non-returners, once-returners, stream winners, those who practice the Buddha's teachings, who believe in but do not practice the Buddha's teachings. Sukhindriya Vada, on Brahmins and ascetics knowing the origin, arising and sensation of 5 faculties of delight, pain, happiness, unhappiness, equanimity, being true Brahmins and ascetics. Yara Vagga, on the Buddha being subject to aging, on aging the 5 faculties of the ear, nose, eye, tongue and body. On impermanence, on the young being crushed by aging, good health being crushed by sickness, and life being crushed by death. On a monk being able to declare the attainment of enlightenment upon the development of the faculty of wisdom and the faculty of concentration, which also means meditation. Vigour, mindfulness, concentration and wisdom. Noble discipline truly dedicated to the Buddha and the Buddha's teachings. Okay, the Sukkaragata Vagga have reached the end of the monk's training. This actually section was a lot about monks. Actually, I noticed that when I was typing this up. Having reached the end of the monk's training, and the reason it might be relevant is because we still have to, being a monk or not, the methods pronounced by the Buddha's teachings and the methodologies and practices, the many that are stated here, that we'll review at the very end, apply to us individually too, if we wish to follow the Buddhist practices for a time on our journey. When they truly know the 5 faculties of faith, vigour, mindfulness, concentration and wisdom, and the 6 faculties of eye, ear, nose, tongue, mind, and mind consciousness, body, on the sure freedom from worldly bonds, on the development of the 5 faculties, as we've said, leading to 7 possible outcomes: enlightenment in this life, enlightenment at death, enlightenment between death and rebirth, enlightenment upon rebirth. So this is talking about we awaken and gnosis during life. We become aware of what the reality and truth of reality is upon the moment of death, and as we enter the realm of grace. The enlightenment between death and rebirth, when we're of spirit form, of spirit essence and awareness, and we re-realize what reality is and that we've been living in ignorance. Enlighten upon rebirth, i.e. this is the journey upon rebirth and we embark upon it straight away. Enlighten upon rebirth and the reduction and the destruction of the 5 low fetters, being identities, view, doubt, attachment to ritual, sense desire and ill will. With ease, enlightenment upon rebirth and the reduction of the 5 low fetters. And again, this is the River Ganges parable over here. Okay. On Balakaraniya Vagga, on all undertakings requiring a strength based upon the foundation of the earth element. On the great undertaking of cultivating the 5 faculties, faith, vigour, mindfulness, concentration and wisdom, being based upon the foundation of virtues and the developing right view and right concentration with isolation and calm and dispassion and deathlessness. Nibbana on the sky and the winds that blow through it from all directions, blowing hot and cold, gently and fiercely, and containing sand, as the monk embracing the 5 faculties established in the practice of the Buddha, mindfulness, mental powers and the 5 faculties, and how the rains of the great storm absorb the bad karma, on how the ocean-faring ships are pulled from the sea to have their hulls cleaned, pull the lost soul from the worldly corruption. So he's using a metaphor to describe how karma is pulled away when you are following the Buddha's teachings and the embracing the 5 faculties. This is based upon the foundation of all virtues in developing right view and right concentration. It's a guest house with attracting guests with special knowledge of the 5 hindrances, the 5 aggregates, knowledge of what to attain, with knowledge and freedom, cultivate calm and meditative insight. Ogavada. On crossing the flood, there are types of flood, as we've said. Flood, the 4 floods of the senses, cravings for existence, craving for doctrine, flood of ignorance, the 3 floods of desires with sense, worldly and heavenly desires, attachments, a sense, attachment, false doctrine, attachment, and useless ritual. Puna Asana Vagga. Overcome ill will, ignorance and greed with right view and right concentration. Isolation and calm disposition, not drive by emotion, which is dispassion. Deathlessness is not subject to death, immortal, the belief that the human soul is deathless, unceasing, perpetual, which it is, leading towards the elimination of lustful sense desires. On the 3 forms of mind, sense form, bodily form and mental form. On the 7 propensities for becoming, propensity to overlook. On the 5 causes of sense pleasure, sense consciousness, obviously the 5 senses and the mind consciousness, leading towards the elimination of lustful sense desires. In other words, the control over them. Diligence is the greatest of all virtues, and all virtues are encompassed by diligence. On using diligence as the key to making progress, cultivating the 4 right efforts. On the supports of a roof, the centre pile. The centre pole is the most important support. Roots of the black sandalwood as the most fragrant of all scented roots. The great jasmine flower as the most fragrant of flowers. On the moon as the brightest of all nighttime celestial objects. On the sun as the only thing overcoming darkness, and diligence being the greatest and most useful of virtues. Okay, on how the upside down vessel rejects water and how the monk embracing the 4 right efforts rejects evil. Okay. On Buddha's pre-enlightenment discovery of how to infuse the mind with light by cultivating the 4 components of spiritual powers. Concentrating supported by determination and keenness, vigour, pure mind and investigation. On the supernormal powers that can be gained by cultivating the 4 components of spiritual powers. On the deep knowledge and wisdom that can be gained by cultivating the 4 components of spiritual powers, leading to a victory over ill will, ignorance and greed. Awareness of past lives, the heavenly eye, the ability to see anything anywhere, which is heavenly eye, and enlightenment. It's where your psychical skills grow. On meditation, on a monk cultivating the fourfold way to establish mindfulness. Mindfulness, again, as I said, to awareness of the body, craving, and then the Buddha's sensations, and then the Buddha's teachings. The Toya Vagga, and how the disciple Anuruddha's great knowledge, great spiritual powers, power of the heavenly eye, and how he knew how to know the other's mind of others, possible and impossible. He knew knowledge of the workings of karma, the true method and path of the many elements in the world of various living things, knowledge of formative extras of his past lives, power of the heavenly eye, elimination of all impurities, and enlightenment, being attributed to having cultivated the fourfold way to establish mindfulness. Okay, that's the end of that small short chapter there. I appreciate your time with this. Again, transformative spirituality is your own, and it needs to be persistent, not just ritual, and the salvation redemption we seek. Well, that is the passage we're taking today as you watch this channel, these videos, and all others of this kind. This is what is meant by your own redemption and salvation, is actually your own free will to chase, free will to pursue, and free will to make real. Okay, I want to say thank you for listening to this again, and I want to say God bless to you all until next time, and I welcome all feedback if you'd be so kind to send it through. Thank you so much, and God bless to you all.